Wolfpack fans, and welcome to another weekly edition of Wolfpack Watch. I'm your voice, Doug Wood, and I'm here again with Coach Jones for your weekly segment to cover the game we just played and the upcoming game next week. Coach Jones, thanks for joining me again.
Thank you for having me.
Coming off of a 34-0 shutout win over Woodstock here at the Den on Friday night, first, Coach, I'd like to ask you, game aside, what were your thoughts on the presentation for the Woodstock fans relative to the passing of Matty Phillips?
Well, you know, I know that's a tough situation right there for any family to have to go through, and you know, our hearts and prayers go out to the family and the community there at Woodstock, and you know, I talked to the team before the game, and we talked about that a little bit, and you know, basically I told them, just like I told my wife, you know, it ain't all about football. Matter of fact, that should be one of the last priorities. But you know, but to go out and honor God with our effort and really do a good job on the field. But you know, it was I'd hate to be in their shoes.
One of the things that I did see after the fact is a lot of tributes from Woodstock thanking the North Paulding community for the sensitivity to the subject here at North, the presentation, the moment of silence, and our hearts and prayers go out to the Phillips family as they're dealing with their tragic loss. Now on to the football game. Coach, 34-0, another shutout. That's makes us 4-0. 3 of those games shut out. We talked last week about that Woodstock team and how good they were. Came in 2-1 with an impressive victory over Kennesaw Mountain, putting up 77 points. Give me your thoughts on the game.
Well, I mean, we played better than we've been playing. I mean, in all phases of the game, we had less penalties, less mistakes, you know, less turnovers. I mean, we played well. Defensively, again, came to play obviously with a shutout, and you know, week in and week out, we've got to play good defense, and offensively, you know, that's one of those things where you're working on timing and you're working on possibly moving some of the pieces around, and it looked a whole lot better, and so I was a little bit surprised. I mean, they've got a good football team, and I don't know if it's the matchup or what, but last year, you know, we beat them over there, and then they go 2 rounds deep in the playoffs. So they got a good football team, and you watch, they'll rebound just fine, and you know, they did have a huge distraction, and I hate it for them, but you know, I'm glad we went out there and took care of business and look forward to our next contest.
First play from scrimmage after the kickoff. You're down at the 12-yard line. I believe we had a penalty that put us back there. Was that a standard call play before the game started, or did somebody think of that right before we snapped the ball?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd like to say I called that play, but I did not call that play. I didn't even know we were running that play. I turned complete control over to our offense coordinator. I knew that we were going to throw the ball around a little bit. We felt like that's one way we could take advantage of them, and so why not start play 1?
Absolutely, 88-yard touchdown from Malmgren to Mitchell. That pretty much set the tone for the rest of the game. I know that from my standpoint up in the press box, I watched the entire game. The offense seemed to be able to move the ball at will most of the time. There were some times where some miscues, I thought, caused us to lose some drives. But one of the things that I noticed more than anything else is the middle of the field seemed wide open the whole night long. Well,
and you're right. A lot of Ross's passes, he was finding, you know, Hawkins down here on this end, and then Murphy had a lot of plays. You know, we tried to go sideline to sideline, you know, line of scrimmage to goal line. So we tried to use the whole field and take advantage of where it's open, and that just where it was open.
On the defensive side of the ball, obviously with the shutout, but one of the things that I noticed, and that quarterback that they have, Garrett Bass, he seemed to be a very mobile quarterback.
Absolutely.
Had a good arm. But our linebackers, as you've said in the past, and our safeties, corners, everybody's flying to the ball. They contained him quite a bit during that game and made it tough for them. Even when they were able to get a few plays to move the ball, they just couldn't sustain it.
Yeah. Well, he's a great athlete. He's scary to play against because he can run, he can throw, he can hurt you. But we did, you know, our plan was to try to get to him and try to keep him off balance the best we could, and we did, you know. And they had given up, from what I had read, 1 sack this season, and so, you know, we wanted to make sure that we added a little bit to that figure.
And we certainly did. We put a lot of pressure on them. I know there were several blitzes as I saw the linebackers coming in. I think I saw Vinziel blitz quite a bit. Bird, Fisher, Isaiah Grant was on the edge quite a bit. Tommy Lesneski, those were the players that I saw that were just flying off the edge. Jalen Parks had an outstanding game at the defensive end spot. Speak a little bit about that.
Well, you know, our linebackers, we talk about them all the time. But Jalen, I tell you, he's got a motor. I'd hate to have to try to block him. And I know that tackle, he was scratching his head after probably the second time he had to block him. He just got such a quick start, and he used his hands so well. And, you know, I'm looking forward to watching him again this next week.
We all are, because we have our upcoming game, speaking of that, is here at the Den Friday night against Cherokee County. Now, I looked online this morning, Coach, before we did this interview, and I noticed that Cherokee is 0-4. We're 4-0, and their scores have been a little bit lopsided on their side. Certainly the boys have looked at some of this and know this. Is this a week to guard against too much optimism?
It's a trap week. That's exactly what it is. And, you know, as much as you can say it and preach it and teach it and tell yourself and tell your coaches and tell your players, they still, you know, think about those things. So we've got to practice, have a great week of practice, and we got to worry about ourselves. You know, we got to take, you know, 34-0 game. There's a lot of things that happen in that game that we're not satisfied with, and we need to go back to work and make sure that we take care of us. And just one game at a time. Right now, we got Cherokee coming here to our place. We've got to show up, cut the mistakes down, and play good football.
I know you'll go over some film session today. Anything about Cherokee that sticks out that you know you've got to really key on to make sure that we don't make any mistakes relative to offense, defense? What type of talent have you seen on their side?
They've got some big kids, and they've got some big skill kids. They've got a couple of corners that are 6'3". I mean, they're as good looking as anybody we've played. So, you know, we got and they got a big tall receiver who's really, really good. Number one, and I tell you, they've got weapons that we're just going to have to make sure that we have key matchups against, and don't let them get the ball to these guys. And if they do, we need to be swarming again like we've been doing on defense.
And after this game, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but here comes all-important region play starting after that with the Hillgrove game kicking us off over there at their place. Don't want to look too far ahead, but you've got to have that in your thoughts as we look towards the most important games of this season so that we can position ourselves for the playoffs.
Well, what we want to do is get through, like I say, one game at a time. We want to get through Cherokee, and then we've got a week off. And that week off is not really a week off. It's a fall break. We will practice 3 days that week. But what we want to do is go into there, and it's all about being healthy at region time, being in the best shape we can be in. And like I told the team Friday night, you know, we got like 3 little sections here. We got the Paulden. We finished that. Now we've got the Cherokee. We'll finish that, and then we go into Cobb County. Right. And so we'll worry about Cobb County when it's Cobb County time.
All right. Well, we all look forward to that. Last thing that I want to focus on, any injuries that are big time concerning to our football squad at this point? I know we didn't talk about it during the last segment, but I want to make sure I ask you, you know, we got any injury concerns each week as we go forward? No,
you know, the usual mid-year, mid-season bumps and bruises kind of things. Nothing serious right now. You know, we did lose a young man, Christian Medina, to a knee surgery. He had knee surgery, and he'll be out. Tremendous kid. You know, we're missing having him out there, but he's with us. He'll be with us on the sideline, and just. You know, that was a big loss for us. He's a great young man. But as far as the rest of them that played Friday night, no.
Good deal. Well, as we stand here on the perfect turf deck and putt some golf balls, I want to thank Coach Jones again for joining us.
Appreciate it.
We look forward to reviewing the Cherokee game after next week and looking forward to our all-important first region game, Hillgrove. Thank you for joining us. Wolfpack Football would like to thank Happy Hog for feeding all of our players and being our Dinner on the Deck sponsors for the 2017 season. Welcome back to Wolfpack Watch, and with me now is senior wide receiver running back number 4, Brian Mitchell. Brian, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
What are we, 4 games in? We're 4-0. Give me your thoughts on the season so far.
We've been working pretty hard every practice. Just working to improve, really. It's going pretty good.
You're in your senior year here at North, and because I've called the games for quite a few years, you weren't here during your freshman and sophomore year. You came during your junior year. How has your experience been here at North so far?
I'm loving it. The fans, really, the coaches, all the players, I'm loving it.
Well, as we see out on the field, it looks like you're loving it because you're running all over the place with that football. You surprised by some of your success, or is this what you saw coming?
It's really what I've been working for, really. So I'm not really surprised.
You've gotten 4 games under your belt with the scrimmage game, 5 games. Paulding County champs. We've taken down Woodstock. We play Cherokee this week. Then we got region play. We've got games upcoming that are really, really important for you guys to position yourself for the playoffs. What are you looking forward to the most?
Just working hard on practice, getting back to how we do things and getting on a roll.
Hillgrove game the week after you come back from break. It's going to be a big game after the Cherokee game. What do you know about Hillgrove? Are you looking forward to that game from a competition perspective?
Yes, I know they have really good receivers. I know they have kind of a good secondary, so I'm looking for a good game.
After that, hopefully, and I won't even say hopefully anymore, we will move on to the playoffs. How far do you think this team can go?
We can really make it all the way.
I
feel like, yes. I feel like with our defense and if we just execute on offense, we'll be great.
Speaking of that defense, you guys sit on the sidelines and watch that defense operate. What impresses you most about them?
The physicality. Yeah, I'm scared of them. So.
I was going to say, would you want to go up against that team?
No, I would not want to go against our team.
Somebody want to take a square in across the middle with Tyler Bird standing right there?
No, I'm scared.
Well, we want to thank Brian for joining us this week as we look forward to the Cherokee game this week. We'll be back next week to review the Cherokee game and the upcoming Hillgrove game. Thanks again, Brian. We'd like to thank Perfect Turf for supporting Wolfpack Football. Welcome back to Wolfpack Watch. With me now is senior wide receiver and defensive back Easton Murphy, number 1. Thanks for joining me, Easton.
Glad to be with you.
Easton, you're now in your 4th year of Wolfpack Football here. You're 4-0. We're going into the Cherokee game this week and then region play. What are your thoughts on the season so far?
I mean, we're rolling right now, you know. We're doing good. Not really many teams have, scored on us or anything like that.
You play both sides of the football right now. I believe Friday night, was it 1 or 2 touchdowns that you caught? 2? Both of them across the middle. And what I mentioned with Coach Jones when I interviewed him earlier is I was surprised how open you were across the middle. How surprised were you?
I mean, I was surprised, but, I'm just going to make a play. I got the chance. So
Absolutely. If the ball's thrown to you,
yeah.
Go ahead and catch it and run. Relative to which side of the ball, and I know you'll tell me, even before asking this question, that you like playing both sides of the ball. But right now, which side is just a tad bit more fun?
I mean, I like playing both sides, but offense is fun.
You like the wide receiver position?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. This is your 4th year in the program. This is 4-0. I think our freshman year, we were a pretty decent football team that year. I know we've made the playoffs every year. Yeah. Which year has been the most fun for you so far? Is this so far the best you've?
Definitely this year.
The most fun you've had? How do you like the coaches here as far as what you've experienced over your 4 years?
I mean, I like them. They always come prepared, and that makes us feel good as players. So it makes us ready to practice, play games. Makes us feel comfortable.
You've got 6 regular season games left in your senior season, and then hopefully many playoff games after the fact. Kind of a little bit bittersweet that some of this is coming to an end pretty soon?
I'm just having fun, I'm not really worried about when it's going to end. I'm just playing.
and life after North Paulding when we get done here. What you looking forward to as far as football and academic career after this?
I don't know yet. I mean, I have colleges, showing interest, but whatever happens, happens.
You'd like to play football at the next
Yeah,
level?
I would. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to see you out there playing at that next level. We want to thank Easton Murphy for joining us. Cherokee game review coming up next week, and then we'll preview our first region game against Hillgrove after that. Thank you for joining us.
On behalf of Coach Jones, myself, and all my coaches and players, I want to thank Happy Hog over in Hiram for supplying our meal. I think they do 3 a year. Unbelievable. I appreciate you. I know you do it for a lot of schools. They don't ask for anything. So again, thank you very much. And parents, take your family to Happy Hog in Hiram.
There it is. Right there, and I'm done. It's gonna be like a mic drop.
I love that putter.
Come on, Doug. I don't want to run out of tape.
Well, Doug, he ruined it.
Ruining the vacation. Look at this. There you go.
There you go. Good job, Doug.
And cut.